Oh yeah, that's a big number to be owing. At such a young age too. Brutal stuff. But hey, I wouldn't have it any other way, and I will talk about that at the end of this video. So we've got another net worth update for you. There's been some pretty big changes to my personal finances as of late. Exciting times. We'll start with assets as usual, then move to liabilities. Asset 1, cash, $28,713.89. Bit down from the prior month due to spending on new shit with my new asset, paying off a credit card, mortgage repayments, injecting money into the stock market, the lot. Cash balance will also drastically fall in the coming months for reasons mentioned later. Asset 2, stonks, $24,676.33. It's mostly due to cash injections, because I'm investing a bit more at the moment, but there's also some stock price appreciation too. Asset 3, crypto, $2,228.45. Bitcoin has been doing pretty nicely lately. If only I had more money in it. Asset 4, sports betting, 1 cent. Still got 1 cent in here, so I'm able to watch NBA games when the season is back on, and I haven't gambled anything else since the NBA Finals. Asset 5, superannuation / my retirement account, $71,174.43. 90% of my funds is in the S&P 500, and the other 10% is in the ASX 200. So they've been doing okay lately, and there's also some extra funds injected from my employers. So it's not all stock appreciation, some of it is extra money. Asset 6, the big dog, real estate, $706,000. Quite the jump from last month. But why? Because the house is done, and always will be. Now, what I was originally doing was calculating the value of my house based off of its cost price. However, since it's done, and realestate.com has had a rough valuation, they've determined my property to be worth around $706,000. Is this what my house would be worth if I tried to sell it? Maybe, maybe not, but it's not too far off. And since I have no other figures to go off, may as well use what they've used. This carries the bulk of my assets, as is the case with most people. Asset 7, a new one here, furniture, $2,079. At the time of writing, I've bought a bed, and that's all so far for my house. Now, the reason I'm valuing my furniture at its cost price, and I'm not cutting off the value since now they become secondhand when I buy them, so you can't sell them for the price you bought them for. The reason I'm doing this is for insurance purposes. Contents in your home are valued at replacement cost. It's basically a way to prevent you from getting stitched up if you bought all your furniture 5 years ago and the cost to replace them is now double. But if you only insured at your cost price, the price 5 years ago, you couldn't afford to replace them now. But since I obviously just bought my bed, its replacement value would basically be the same price I bought it at. Now, the valuations will be at replacement value or cost price, not resale price, since I'm not going to ever resell these assets since they're forming a part of my home, but the valuation of these assets will be included in my insurance. So that's why I'll value things at their cost price. Also, when I rent out rooms, I'll be able to extract higher rents due to having a nicer home, as well as depreciating the value of these more expensive items on my taxes when this eventually becomes a part investment property. It's a bit of accounting gimmickry, but it's not wrong. I am spending money on stuff, and it's not like an experience like a holiday. It's a tangible item that exists, and I do derive benefits from it, such as being in a nicer house and being able to generate higher rental returns. I know many others don't include this for their net worth purposes, but furniture is an asset. If you want to exclude it, that's fine. And it's not like most of my net worth is tied up in stuff like this anyway, and the values of most assets fluctuate anyway. Example, my stocks are a different value now than they were when I made this video, and my house may be valued differently by one bank versus another, but that's just the way I see it. I treat furniture as an asset in my own net worth considerations. Asset 8, business, $510. I've cut its value from last time due to stagnant growth in the channel. Can't price in future growth if there's literally no growth. Asset 9, items, $4,200. Cut its value from last month since I realized the stuff I had recently bought wouldn't actually resell for a decent value at all, but the main $4,200 of value is still there. My gaming consoles, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, NBA jerseys, etc., they all have value. Asset 10, vehicle, $6,600. Cut its value again since it's just getting older. I cannot see how my car would be valued much higher than this, given its age and kilometers traveled. So tallying up all my assets, we have a whopping $846,182.11. Damn, creeping up to $1 million. Crazy. But with great assets comes great liabilities. So let's talk about those icky liabilities. Oh my god, ick! It gives me the ick. Liability 1, credit card, $2,425 and 12 cents. I have a credit card now to delay payments so I can have cash sit in my offset account for longer, thus reducing the interest I have to pay on my mortgage. Liability 2, car loan, $0, paid my car outright when I bought it. Liability 3, student debt, $43,650 and 2 cents. It's gone up by $1,353.47 due to interest or indexation. It's the same shit. But at July 1st, my student debt increased in value due to interest applied at the new financial year. I think Labor, the political party in power in Australia, is set to cut student debt in this month, so we'll see what this figure is next month. Liability 4, tax debt, $0 currently, but this will skyrocket once I get my tax return completed. Chances are I get that sorted in late August, but who knows. I will be very busy with my new house stuff, like furniture shopping, getting appliances installed, etc. in the coming weeks, so I probably won't worry about my taxes for a while. Liability 5, real estate loan, $409,363.51. The good news is I've received all the loans from the bank. They were slowly trickling in funds as the house progressed, and now it's done, so this figure won't go up from here. The bad news is I don't actually owe $409,000. It's more like $750,000 when you consider the interest. But the more cash I have sitting in my account, my offset account, the less interest I owe, and thus the faster it gets paid off. I'm already almost $3,000 ahead of schedule on my loan, and I put a good chunk of money into stocks lately instead, as well as paying for other shit like insurances, utilities, and new furniture. And this loan is only just fully started. Like, my final amount of my mortgage has just come in. So having already an almost $3,000 head start due to keeping a decent stockpile of cash earlier on was a decently smart move. Could have made more buying the Liberation Day dip, but hey, I gotta have some peace of mind. I gotta have some safety buffer of cash. And last liability, business loan, $0. I just have this here since I know some people have it. I have no business loan, thankfully, because that would have been a dumb loan for me since my education/career and my house/real estate investments have been much, much more lucrative investments for me compared to what my business has returned. So tallying up all my liabilities, we have $455,438.65. Ouch. It doesn't feel that bad though, since all this debt is used for productive reasons, example, a good education that allows me a higher income, and a good real estate investment that will literally print me money with rental income in the future, and delaying payments so that my mortgage interest is lower. So my assets of $846,182.11, take my liabilities of $455,438.65, equals a net worth of $390,743.46. Damn, almost $400,000. Wild. And I'm only 28. I will literally hit $400,000 by the time I'm 29, since even if I get laid off at my job, I'll get a redundancy payout that is well above $10,000. And yeah, my cash balance will decrease thanks to buying shit for the new house, but that'll get included in my furniture section of my assets anyway. I'm guaranteed a net worth of above $400,000 by the time I'm 29, unless the stock market tanks, which will maybe happen, or if the calculated value of my house drops, but I doubt it. The Victorian property market is starting to heat up. If anything, my home will be valued more by the time I'm 29. So that's an increase of $91,898.63 in assets since last month, basically due to my house being completed and having a higher final value than anticipated. My liabilities went up by $27,182.39, mostly due to my mortgage increasing and interest on my student debt, resulting in a total net worth increase of $64,716.24 since last month. If only every month had an increase this large. But it's not every month your house build is finalized and the real estate website gives you a valuation that was higher than you were initially expecting. I may have been undercounting my net worth throughout the entirety of my home build. But remember, it's just a number. My high real estate value doesn't mean a lot since I am not selling my house. It just means it's harder to afford the neighborhood in which I live. The home equity is useful, but I can't actually afford another loan right now anyway, so for now, it's pointless. My retirement funding of $71,000 I can't actually touch for another almost 3 decades, except in dire circumstances that I'd never allow myself to get into anyway. My vehicle value doesn't mean much since I'm not selling that thing. I need it to drive to work. My $4,200 in items value doesn't mean a lot since I don't really plan on selling anything unless someone wants to make me a good offer for my NBA jerseys or Yu-Gi-Oh cards or my old gaming consoles. Probably some collector's value there. My student debt is largely irrelevant since it just makes my tax bills a bit larger than normal, and I need that to afford my education, which I needed for my sweet job, and I needed the real estate loan to get a house. I'd rather have this debt versus being debt-free but having no house and no education, meaning I'm at the mercy of a landlord, which is way worse than being at the mercy of a bank, and having no education means I can't get a job with a higher income. Well, you could. There are obviously jobs out there that pay well that don't require a degree, but in accounting, you need that education. But obviously these finances show I'm not exactly struggling. The result of 4.5 years of grinding has led me to this point. Some of the work was done pre-2021, but most of the hard yards were done from the start of 2021 until now. And look at how quickly time has passed. It's kind of surreal. The goal was never a high net worth. It doesn't mean much, but a high net worth, or at least high for my age in my country in my opinion, is a side effect of working 2 jobs 7 days a week for years on end, being savvy with investments, and having good savings tactics. So what are your thoughts? What's your net worth? And do you think it actually matters? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. That is all.